There will always be different accounts of the same event, and only some, all, or none of them may be the reliable source. First of all, why do accounts of the same event differ anyway? A wide range of situations can cause varying tales of the same event. Many recordings of an event are written at a time significantly later than the date of the event being written about, and the time elapsed causes a compromised recall of the event. Another reason for having inaccuracies in the recording of an event is due to the purpose for which it was written. Many primary accounts of historical events were written with a king or other ruling figure in mind. The writer would want to impress the reader. To do so, he could mold the events to elevate his reputations, while downgrading the work of others, earning him recognition from someone of importance. Of course, inconsistent accounts can be caused just by the miscommunication to the writer, or his own misconception of the events around him. From the capture of Jerusalem, there were three sources drawn from both sides of the fight. Representing the Christians, the source of Christian priest Fulcher of Chartres, and for Muslims, Arab historian Ibn al-Athir and poet Abu-e Muzaffar. Although neither of them were present at the physical event of the capture of Jerusalem, they each used semi-reliable sources. Priest Fulcher relied on eyewitnesses who were most likely in shock, and Ibn al-Athir used Islamic sources from the time of the capture, which would also be mostly inaccurate. Both sides of the capture had believed that God supported their mission, despite the fact that the Christian and Muslim God is one and the same. Both sides also agreed on the chaotic battle and desperate attempts to escape by the Muslims. As they stormed through the city of Jerusalem, the Crusaders paid no attention to whom they slaughtered, as they aimed only for physical gain and control of the city, which they did take rather violently. However badly lost, the Muslims did not back down, since it is believed that an internal conflict caused the weakness that allowed the Franks to take over their country. The Muslim poet attempted to unite the population of the Muslims with the ideas of his poems, which were opposing those of Christians. In one of his poems, he repeated the phrase, "This is war," implying fighting against the people who took their city, several times in an effort to raise the Muslims who were still alive and have a will to fight back. Almost half a century after the First Crusades, the Battle of Cajamarca brought forth a new set of fighting between opposing religions. Macaulay's compilation of primary accounts included testimonies from multiple witnesses, including several Spaniards and some from two Incan translators, one of which was a mixed blood and the other full Incan, while Diamonds only included accounts by 6 of Pizarro's companions, who were all Spaniards. There are two confirmed sources that overlap both compilations: Francisco Pizarro's brothers Hernando and Pedro. The explorers, when recording the events from the New World, were trying to impress the king back in Europe. Their accounts of the events mostly showed the Spanish as brave and assertive, taking immediate dominance over the Incans. However, the small excerpts of Incan recordings do not necessarily indicate their rebelliousness against the Spanish authority, but rather their curiosity for the Spanish way of life. There are no direct testimonies of the Incans from these two sources, and even if there were, the translations are likely to be off, as the Spanish were unfamiliar with Quechua at the time. After reviewing only two events with limited sources, inconsistencies are already present throughout each source. So how should scholars combat inaccuracies in their sources, and how can a source be eliminated as unreliable? First, multiple sources must be compared with one another to show the variability or consistency of certain pieces of information. It is helpful to have a large quantity of similar sources to choose from. Second, pay attention to when the source was written. If it was written considerably late, the author would have had inaccurate recall of the event, making the source less reliable than one written at the time or very close to the time of the event. Third, analyze the quality of the work. Does the writer sound credible in their writing? Does the writer cite facts from outside sources? Research can be done on the author of the source to find their possible intent for making the source or the general reliability of the author. There are many factors to include when determining the reliability of a source. Inconsistencies in reporting are not limited to the primary and secondary accounts from the Crusades or New World explorations. Even Shakespeare, in his play Othello, points out the discrepant media when the Duke and senators were reading the many conflicting death tolls from the battle at Cyprus. Today, as the internet connects people from everywhere, fake news articles are becoming more common, using clickbait titles and incorrect facts to attract unsuspecting citizens. Sketchy websites are not the only sources of faulty news coverage, as even mainstream media can deceive its consumers by using unnamed sources and by conducting an opinion style of reporting rather than using balanced arguments or straight facts. There is no true method of distinguishing between truth or lie, so historians and ordinary people should use outside research and their own best judgment to determine history.